Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be chatting about some hidden gems at the drugstore. These are some of my favorite videos to watch from other creators, so I felt like it was time that I did one. It's been a while. So I have a bunch of different drugstore products in front of me. I also have a couple of them that are dupes, so I'm kind of sneaking some dupes into this video as well. So why don't we go ahead and jump in and just get started. So first I have two primers that I wanted to talk about, and the first one is this Wet n Wild Impossible Primer. So I know a few people that I watched talked about this when it first came out, but I haven't really heard anybody mention it since. It's one of those products that everybody kind of tested when it launched and then they just kind of stopped talking about it. But I really enjoy this, especially because it is a silicone-free primer, and that's something that you really don't see very often. And I always get so many questions from you guys and DMs asking if I know of any good silicone-free primers, and this is definitely one of them. So it has some pretty interesting claims. It says that it mattifies, hydrates, it blurs pores, and preps skin for lasting makeup, and it's impossibly silicone-free. So a few things that I noticed about this primer are that it definitely mattifies, it definitely hydrates your skin as well, and it does blur your skin a little bit. I'll show you guys a quick before and after. I do think it minimized my pores somewhat, but it's not the best pore minimizing primer I've ever tried, so I feel like it's not really the best for that, but it does make your skin feel incredibly smooth, and it has like a grippy feeling to it as well, so it really helps your makeup to last longer. I notice quite a bit more longevity with my foundation when I wear this versus when I don't. So normally what I'll do is just put this one all over my face and then just tap a pore filling primer just right here in my cheek area near my nose. That's where I see the most pores, and the rest of my face I feel like I don't really need a pore filler. So I think this is such a nice primer, and it has a really interesting unique texture. It does sort of feel like a silicone primer, but it's almost more like cushiony and plush. It has a really cool feel, and it actually reminds me so much of the Touch and Soul primer, not the No Problem one, but the one that's in the jar at Ulta. It's called the Icy Sherbet primer. That one has almost the identical texture, and that also is a silicone-free primer. Even though it feels like a silicone, it's not. And that one and this one also have the same kind of cooling sensation when you put it on your skin. It's almost like a weird sort of a water burst sort of feeling. It's really strange. Like you put it on and then all of a sudden you just feel like this instant cooling sensation going into your skin. So it's very cool. So I would even go so far as to say this is a dupe for that one, because they are almost identical to me. Another primer I've really been enjoying that I don't hear anybody talking about is the Burt's Bees Goodness Glows primer. This is hydrating and illuminating. So it does have a little bit of illumination going on, kind of similar to something like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter, but this one is a lot more subtle. So if you found something like that to be a little bit too glowy and too sparkly, this has zero sparkle in it. It actually comes out of the tube kind of like a white color, but it looks very pearlescent, I would say, versus sparkly or shimmery. And it feels like a moisturizer going onto your skin. So it's really hydrating. Again, this one isn't really going to smooth your pores either, but you can always follow up with a pore smoothing primer if you want to in certain areas. This is just going to give your skin a really beautiful glow. And I like using this one under a more sheer foundation or a tinted moisturizer, because the other ones that are a little more sparkly, I feel like those are better suited under something like the Charlotte Tilbury that's a little bit more intense. This one is not super intense, so if you put something full coverage over it, you're not really going to see the glow from this. But if you have something that's a little more sheer, this is so perfect underneath that. You can also mix it into a foundation, especially one that's maybe a little too dark for you, because it is more of a white color, so it'll lighten something up if you need it to do that and just add a little bit of glow as well. But I just love the pearly, subtle look that this gives your skin. The older I get, the less I'm interested in glitter or sparkle, so I really enjoy this, and I find that it doesn't accentuate my texture on my skin. Moving on to foundation, I've really been loving one from CoverGirl that's really not new, so nobody talks about it anymore, but I sort of rediscovered this one and have really been enjoying it. And it's the Simply Ageless Ageless foundation, the one that's in the little jar. I recently tried the powder version of this and absolutely fell in love with it. You guys know, if you've been watching my channel for a while, I've talked about it so many times. I did a whole dedicated video on that powder because it just looks so smoothing on your skin. And this one claims to do the same thing. It says that it's going to just smooth over your fine lines and pores and just kind of sit on top of your skin rather than sinking in, which a lot of liquid formulas do. And again, as I get older, that's something that I definitely want to avoid. And this one really does what it claims to do. It has a little swirl of like a moisturizer mixed in with the foundation. So it's not as heavy and cakey as a lot of the cream type formulas are, like say the Kat Von D Good Apple, or Milani makes one in a compact as well. And those look so heavy and cakey on my skin. But because this one has the moisturizer swirled into it, it just looks so nice and it goes on really, really sheer. I've applied it with the puff that it comes with. I've also put it on with like a flat top buffing brush, and I like it either way. I think it just looks so nice and smooth on my skin. It doesn't cling to dry patches. It doesn't look heavy on my skin at all. And it just really evens out my skin tone. It doesn't cover absolutely everything, but it certainly evens out all my redness and it minimizes my dark spots somewhat. Anything beyond that, I can just add a little bit of concealer afterwards in the areas that I need it, and that's it. Also has SPF 28. It has titanium dioxide sunscreen in it, as well as hyaluronic acid and vitamin C. One thing I do want to mention though is that you have to go up a shade or two from your normal CoverGirl foundation, and I remembered that from the last time I tried this years ago. I'm normally classic ivory in CoverGirl's foundations, but I actually went with 225 Buff Beige for this because the white moisturizer that's in here, I find that it seems to kind of lighten the foundation as you mix it together. So Buff Beige is usually a little too deep for me, but in this case, it really wasn't. I felt like it was a perfect shade match. So that's just one quick thing I did want to mention about this, but otherwise, I absolutely love it. Next up, I've really been enjoying this eyeshadow quad from Revlon. I never thought I would say that, but these are really, really nice. This is the So Fierce Prismatic palette, and I have mine in the shade Slight Flex. So I've heard these compared to like Tom Ford quads, and I had to try it out and see for myself. And I have to say, if you're somebody who likes a really, really pigmented eyeshadow, you're probably not going to go for this one, but they basically have a baked formula that you can use wet or dry. So if you use it dry, it's going to be a lot more subtle. If you use it wet, you can really amp up the color quite a bit. So I'll show you guys what these colors look like both wet and dry. I'll do a dry swatch and then a wet swatch of each color. And I think first of all, the colors in here are so beautiful. The first two colors I would say are more of a satiny finish. You have a beige and a deep turquoise. And then the last two colors have a little bit more of a metallic finish to them. The one is like a really deep rose gold, and the other one, oh my gosh, so beautiful. It's a topper that looks kind of grayish, but it has a blue shift to it. It almost has a little pink in it as well. It's so beautiful. And I really just love the wet look that these shadows give when they're on your eyes. I think they're so pretty. They kind of remind me a lot of K-Beauty eyeshadows in that they're subtle in terms of the pigmentation, but the metallic sheen that they have makes an impact at the same time. And because these are more sheer, they're so easy to use. They're so simple to work with. I'll show you guys quickly a look that I did the other day with this palette using it dry so you can see kind of how that looks. And I started out by picking up that beige shade first on a fluffy crease brush, and I just blended that into my crease. It blended beautifully, and it actually showed up a little bit deeper on my skin than I was expecting it to. So that was a really nice surprise. Then I used that deeper rose gold color, and I put that one mostly in the outer corner of my eye and kind of blended it back towards the middle of my lid. And then I picked up that beautiful duochrome shade and applied that from the inner corner back to the center of my eye. And I really love how subtle and pretty this came out. Again, I just found it super, super easy to use because it's a little bit more on the sheer side, but I feel like it still made somewhat of an impact. And then for today's look, I used the exact same colors the same way, but I just wet the shadows. I didn't wet the first one, the tan color, but the other two, I just wet those a little bit so that you could see the difference, and I feel like it just pops a little bit more. So anyway, I feel like this palette isn't necessarily going to be for everybody, but I have been really enjoying it so much. I feel like the baked formula is a little bit more of a high-end feel, especially for the drugstore, and I just love these colors too. I think that they just did a really great job. It was something a little bit more unexpected. Usually shadows at the drugstore play it pretty safe as far as color stories go. I love that they included the duochrome topper, and also the rest of the colors in here are just gorgeous as well. So really love this one. Next up, I recently purchased two classic mascaras that I haven't used in a couple years now, but I saw them at the drugstore and had to give them another shot because I remember how much I loved them in the past. So the first one is the Maybelline Lash Discovery. If you guys haven't tried this one yet, I recommend this one so much. They call it a mini brush mascara, and that's because the mascara wand is super teeny tiny. It's actually a really good dupe for the IT Cosmetics Tightline mascara, which retails for like $26 or something like that. This one actually launched first. It's been out forever and ever. And the reason that IT Cosmetics calls theirs Tightline mascara is because the brush is so super narrow. When you go to apply it and you put the brush right up to your lash line, it kind of stamps the color in between your lashes, and it makes it look like you tightlined your eyes with eyeliner. So as you can see here by my before and after, my lash line on the side where I used the mascara looks like I applied a really tiny thin line of eyeliner. So that's one reason I really like this. The other reason is just because it gives really nice length and volume. I feel like it is so easy to comb out your lashes with this tiny little brush. You wouldn't think so, and I'm kind of surprised that more brands haven't come out with little brushes like this, because I just find it so much easier to control with the big thick chunky brushes, which I feel like are so common these days. I am forever getting mascara up on my eyelid, and it always ruins the eye look that I just did. So that's another reason I really love this. The third reason is because it's great for your lower lash line. So I know Clinique makes a mascara, or at least they did before. I don't know if it's still a thing, but it's called the Lower Lash Mascara. And again, it has a really skinny little brush just like this one. And because it's so small, it's just really easy to apply to your lower lashes without getting it all over the place. So this is definitely a hidden gem. It's one that I've purchased many times over the years. I don't even know when this came out. It could have been back in the 90s, maybe the early 2000s. But yeah, it's just one of those mascaras that's really stood the test of time. Another mascara that I picked up recently is the L'Oreal Double Extend Beauty Tubes Mascara. So when I published my most recent dupes video the other day, I got a question asking if I knew a good dupe for Thrive's mascara. And I would say it's definitely this one. I didn't used to love Thrive's mascara, but I recently got a new tube of it in my Ipsy box, and I fell in love with it. And I don't know if the first tube I got a couple years ago just wasn't good or there was something wrong with it. Back then, I just did not understand the hype, but now I have been loving it. I love how long it lasts on my lashes. It doesn't smudge or flake. I even slept in it one night, and there was no mascara under my eyes in the morning. So really love that stuff, but I find this to be an amazing dupe. It does come with a primer on one side and then the mascara on the other, but just comparing mascara to mascara without the primer, I want to show you guys the results that this gives, because I find it to be just as good as the Thrive mascara, and it does have that tubing formula as well. So it's not going to smudge or flake under your eyes, and it's going to last the entire day. So I always recommend this one when people ask me for a good dupe for the Thrive mascara. And it's another one that's been out there forever, so I feel like people never talk about it. Next up, when it comes to blush, there's one that I feel like nobody ever talks about, but it is such a great formula, and I've been using these a lot lately, and these are the XX Revolution blushes. I think the last time I probably talked about these was when I did an XX Revolution video back when that brand first launched. It could have been like 2 years ago now, but I found that they had a lot of really great products in that line. I know Makeup Revolution can be very hit or miss, but I thought that the XX Revolution was really well done. They have gorgeous packaging, it looks very high-end, and the blushes are nicely pigmented. They blend out very easily on your cheeks, so you don't have to really worry about going overboard. I just wouldn't pick up too much of it with your brush. A little bit goes a very long way, but once you get them on your cheeks, they blend out so seamlessly, and they come in like 16 different shades, so it's a really big shade range for a blush, and I think they have everything from really pale nude colors colors all the way to really bright and bold shades as well. So I think they're amazing. And for a $10 blush, they just really do look so high end when it comes to the packaging. Most drugstore blushes are in like the clear plastic packaging that just looks so cheap. And this is in a nice heavy like metallic pink compact, and it has ridges on it. It even comes with a mirror inside. So I highly recommend checking these out. Unfortunately, they don't sell XX Revolution at Ulta. I hope that one day it'll show up there, but you can always grab these at Revolution's website. I find that I think they must have shipping here in the US, because whenever I order, it always comes in a couple of days, unless they're doing some crazy fast shipping. I don't know. All right, moving on. Let's talk about two lip products. The first one is this NYX lip pencil that I got recently, and this has a really crazy name. It's called the Glide On, Slide On, Stay On, and definitely a Turn On. Not quite sure where they're going with that one. Waterproof Extreme Color Lip Liner. And then in parentheses, it says, this lip liner is so good, the name had to be this long. So I don't know about the name, but it is a really good lip liner. They were not kidding. This is the shade Nude Suede Shoes, and I'm wearing this on my lips today, and this lip liner is fantastic. Honestly, it's so good. It is super duper creamy, so much so you can easily just fill in your lips with it and wear it as a lipstick if you want to. I also really love this color. I think it's beautiful, and the waterproof formula really does last a long time. It lasts through eating and drinking. I feel like I've found so many good lip liners lately. I know I talked recently about a new one from Essence, the 8-hour one, and this one reminds me of that quite a bit. But if you don't see the Essence one in stores and NYX is easier to find for you, then definitely check these out, especially if you're looking for a good lip liner. They had a lot of really beautiful colors. Also from Neutrogena, I know I probably talked about these on my channel like a long time ago, but again, it's a product I don't hear anybody talking about just because it's an older product, but it's like an oldie but a goodie. It's a really good one. This is the Moisture Smooth Color Stick. So I really enjoy a good lip crayon. I know ColourPop came out with some last year that everybody was loving. Doll 10 makes really good ones as well, but these are just quick and easy to grab at the drugstore if you want to, and the formula is so fantastic. I feel like these are underrated because not only are they really moisturizing, and of course like in the crayon format, they're super easy to use, but they're also strangely long lasting for a lip crayon. Like these stay on much longer than I would expect something like this to stay. Some of the deeper colors even kind of leave a stain behind, and they just kind of seem to smooth out your lips and make your lips look really good. So I'll show you guys the colors that I have. I have Almond Nude, which is the one that I'm wearing in the video today, on top of the NYX lip liner. I also have the shade Berry Brown, and this one is a little bit deeper than Almond Nude and a little bit more pink, but this is like another color that I really enjoy. And then I have Rich Raisin, which actually is a really good dupe for Clinique's Black Honey lipstick. I keep finding dupes for that. I know it kind of sold out there for a minute. It was having a moment on TikTok and everybody was loving that one all over again, and people finding dupes just because you couldn't get the Black Honey. This one is really close, both in just the texture because it has that like semi-sheer and then like with the satiny finish that isn't super glossy, just like the Clinique Almost lipstick. So I really enjoy these. I don't think they really have a scent. Maybe like just a very like small hint of maybe like a fruity scent. It's nothing overpowering at all. You can barely smell it. And I certainly don't smell it once it's on my lips. Like if you put it up to your nose like that, you can smell it, but on my lips, I don't smell anything. And these also are twist up as well, so they're really easy to use. You don't have to sharpen them or anything like that. And then one more lip product that I have is from Neutrogena as well, and I saw this at CVS a couple weeks ago, and I purchased it just on a whim. I was looking for a lip balm, and this is their Moisture Shine Lip Soother. It has SPF 20 in it, which is really interesting because a lot of lip products don't have SPF. It claims to be a cooling hydrogel, and I just got mine in the shade Glow 70, which really doesn't leave much color on your lips, maybe just a hint of pink. But these are so incredibly smoothing on your lips. They have a little bit of a cooling sensation as well, but I just loved how it instantly quenched my dry lips and just made them look and feel so much smoother. It also has a nice thick sort of cushiony feel, which I love. It's not sticky at all like a gloss would be, but it leaves a good amount of shine to your lips. So I feel like this is another underrated product that nobody really talks about, but it's an excellent lip balm. And then the last product I wanted to talk about is from Physicians Formula. This is their Essence of Healthy Toner and Setting Spray. I know I mentioned this during a Sunday haul video when I first got it, but I never really updated you guys on it. So this is quite an interesting product because it's actually skincare in a setting spray. So this has 95% galactomyces ferment filtrate, which basically, if you've ever seen the COSRX galactomyces formula or something like SK2, which is like 90 something percent galactomyces fermented ingredients. So I feel like if you're gonna set your makeup, you might as well do it with some skincare ingredients as well. This also says that it's packed with vitamins, antioxidants, minerals, amino acids, and natural acids to condition and visibly enhance the skin's radiance. Another amazing thing about this is the mister on it. It is so good. It has a beautiful fine mist that just feels amazing going on your skin. It doesn't leave water droplets everywhere. It's honestly just such a pleasure to use. So I've been loving this, and since it is also a toner, you can just use this as a toner after you cleanse your skin. You can just spray this all over, or you can use it as a setting spray after your makeup, or both if you want. But it's an awesome dupe for the COSRX and the SK2 at a super affordable drugstore price. So this is another awesome product that I've been loving, and I don't ever hear anybody mention it. All right, guys, so those are some underrated products that I've been loving lately. I would love to hear your thoughts down below if you've tried any of these products, or in general, what are your favorite underrated products that nobody talks about? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to spend it here with me and clicking on this video. I appreciate it so much. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. I talk about a lot of drugstore makeup and dupes here on my channel. So if that type of content interests you, you're definitely going to want to be subscribed. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.